Hi, I'm Karen Johnson. I'm here at StarWest 2012, or still here at StarWest, I should say. I'm here with two gentlemen from the test lab who have actually not met. Did we? Well, we'll pretend we didn't meet. So,
All right, okay.
You are?
I'm Bart Knaak. I'm from the Netherlands, Utrecht, and I work at Logica.
Perfect.
I'm Jori Vergastelen. I'm also from Logica, and I live at Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Wonderful. Thanks for taking some time out from the lab. The lab has been a hopping place this whole conference. But both of you showed up and you brought a device and you brought a horn. And
You're a bit worried about
that.
Well,
I'm particularly worried about the horn. I don't know if you're going to blast it at me if I ask a hard question or something. I'm just going to keep the horn over here. That's okay.
That's okay.
Can you explain what you've brought?
Well, actually, this is one of the challenges that we have in the test lab. It's a robot which we could actually just turn on, I guess. And it actually looks at what color it stands on and takes a decision on what to do. So it's now on a black table. It should do something to a black table. Yes, it does. It says black, and then it moves around. And since the entire surface is black, it will only do black things. So this is a bit strange, but if there were other colors, like red or blue or green on the table, it would behave differently.
Really?
And it's up for the testers, the people that are here, to determine what the behavior is based on the different colors it has. So in that sense, it's kind of a tester's challenge to find out the specifications based on behavior.
Okay. It does the same thing every time?
It does the same thing on every color every time.
Okay.
And the good thing is that we've seen about 6 or 7 groups trying to solve this, and everybody's got their own way of doing it. We have not seen 2 similar approaches during the entire conference. So it was very nice to see. Not too similar, no.
You're kidding.
Everybody takes a different approach to it.
People.
Some of them try to actually look at it from a point of view where the orientation always stays the same, and it says, well, the world is evolving around it, stuff like that. Others say, no, it's just X and the Y and orientation. Another one says, well, if it's on black, it tries to find another black. I'm not sure why they came up with that idea, but that's what they do.
Do you both know the answer to the puzzle, if you will?
By now, I've seen 3 different answers, so yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have a winner.
There's no single right answer. It's just a path of blocks you lay to shoot a goal.
Trying to frustrate testers. There's no single one answer, right?
True.
There's no requirement.
No, that's it.
And there's also some bugs in there for people to find.
Okay. So, so why are you doing this?
Well, actually, this is kind of a way of getting people to test at a test conference. We had something like, well, if you're at the test conference and you've learned a lot of stuff, why don't you use it at the test conference and test together with gurus, test together with colleagues, and see if you can find different stuff that you would normally not do.
Okay.
And it's a cool place to hang out, and I like to do it.
Okay. All right. I'll buy that. What part are you enjoying about it the most?
I just like people coming in and enjoying the robot, puzzling about it, and indeed some take a very mathematical approach about how the robot moves, and some just keep on sticking papers on it to see what it does. So it's really nice meeting a lot of people.
Do you ask people who are trying to figure it out to sort of talk their way through it the whole time, so you can kind of listen to their thinking and their
Well, we had one team actually arguing with each other
while
doing it.
I'm sure.
Like, no, we should do it like this. Well, it's a corporation. We should do it together. And they're like, okay, that's interesting. They took more time than the other teams because they had a lot of discussion. And I think that's one of the things that I like best, to see how people approach a thing like this. It actually makes it work.
I actually, a while ago, a year or 2 ago, was doing some research, trying to find books or papers or anything on how people analyze things, like an analysis of analysis. But when I would ask librarians for it, I would get this sort of look like, yeah, maybe you want the self-help section. No, I'm just kidding. They weren't quite sure what I was asking, but that's what you're doing. You're making observations on how people make observations and whether there's, recognizing patterns or whatever they're doing. And I can only imagine the lab filled with a certain amount of arguments. So I get that, but...
The horn.
Yeah, the horn.
Okay.
Use it.
Yeah.
Just once. Use it.
Really? Is it going to,
no, that's okay.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
once.
all right. Yeah, it's what I was afraid of. It's kind of obnoxious. Right?
Right. Well,
Yeah, okay.
actually, we want to have people to celebrate if they found a bug. So you find a bug, you make a sound.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and actually, we've had these in my teams as well, in the office. We had stress balls you could throw once you found a bug. We had stuff like that to make
At
it more
developers,
fun.
at other people?
Right, yeah, so that was a good.
if necessary.
That wasn't very nice. Sorry about that.
No, but actually that's what happened. I mean, we had competitions, developers and testers competitions, who would put in more bugs, who would take more bugs out during a certain time interval.
Oh,
That was
that is interesting. You know what I like about this? It sounds like you're trying to bring back the sense of playing.
Yeah, and actually, I compare myself to a stage master. I mean, I get people in, I get speakers in to do talks. They're the rock stars. I'm only the stage master that gives them the stage to do it. And that's working out fine.
Interesting. Do you find that the people who do some amount of public speaking behave differently in the lab than other people?
Yes, they're more explicit. People that do public speaking are more explicit in what they do. Michael Bolton, if he comes in, he's very, well, expressive in what he does, and he tells people what he's doing. And that actually is interesting for people to hear how he would test something like this. The same goes for John Bach. He's very expressive. He tells what he's doing and hopes that other people will pick up on that.
Right.
Whereas if normal people come in, they just sit there and do it for themselves and maybe sometimes tell something about what they're doing.
Right.
But they only actually ask for confirmation once they've done something.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's a
that's
difference.
interesting.
Yeah,
I think you could tell some of the people who've probably been around James Bach who would insist that he would want to know what you're thinking and how you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we just did the coin game, and
Yeah.
a lot of people showed up.
Yeah.
And basically, the coin game is that, in this case, Michael Bolton is separating coins, and people have to find out what the algorithm is. And what you notice is that the people sitting at the table, they don't really communicate with each other. They just flip the coins and then see what happens. And if they were communicating, it probably would go a lot quicker.
Yeah, right. So you think maybe that would happen back at the office, right?
I wouldn't be...
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of testers work solely and do not
Yeah.
work in teams and really express themselves and really talk to each other what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Well, I've always been intrigued by the people who get drawn to the field of testing and what their personality types might be.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of us are introverts, and we end up being hired as the lone tester, and then you go to a conference and you're asked to speak. Well, other places, no one really wants to hear a tester speak so much, or they're not so intrigued by our thought process.
I would really like it if testers start to do more cross-posting of conferences. So I would like to see testers to speak at a development congress or whatever conference, because we don't have to convince each other. We have to convince the rest of the world.
I know, but they don't really ask some of us. Like, I speak at lots of conferences. I've never once had a developer conference invite me.
Have you ever sent in an abstract?
Yeah, wait for it.
All right, good points. Do you want to like squeak the horn?
No.
That's okay.
All right. All right, good fun. So, so is the test lab here any different this time than times before? You've done this before, right?
Yeah, I've done it before. Well, Mindstorms is new, and we had Microsoft in as a co-sponsor, which makes it a bit different because a lot of attention went into Visual Studios. So testing is different this year, but it's been fun, and I think we had enough people in to have a good test lab again. So in that sense, it was good.
This is kind of a curiosity to me. So you're not from the U.S.
No.
You've been in test labs in different countries. Do you see any difference country to country?
Yes, you do. In Europe, you see more people being anxious to do something, whereas over here, people are a bit more expressive. Then again, the people that we see that are more expressive over here are mostly the people from Europe. But they do it over here and not in Europe, so there's a kind of a strange thing about that. But that's how it happens.
Do they feel permissioned when they come here?
Maybe.
Or maybe only the guys that actually are expressive get to come over here.
That seems more logical.
I don't know.
No?
Wow.
You'll never know.
That's interesting. Any other differences you find in testers? I'm looking for even like patterns within the group.
Right. Okay. Well, what you see more in over here is exploratory testing, whereas more structured testing in Europe. So Europe is like where are the requirements? They want to have the requirements. They want to base their testing on requirements. And over here it's more like, okay, this is the system, I'll explore it. So there's a difference in that as well.
Wow. It'd be fascinating to know how testers who have been through certification would approach this. Do you suspect the people who are looking for requirements and more of a method are folks who have been through certification?
Might be, not necessarily. I mean, for me personally, I think you need to have both. You need to be able to test structurally, and you need to be able to explore. I mean, they're two sides of the medal. But a lot of people only master one of them and say the other one is crap.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's true. I mean, you need to be able to do both, depending on the company you work for, depending on the software you test.
Yeah, depends on the system and the field of usage, I guess. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a bias probably of personal best habit, right? Like if you're best at something, that's what you kind of clutch to.
Yep.
And you have the test lab, you're shaking things up, we're testing things we don't expect to test, so you're probably going to go back to kind of your home base of how you approach things, right?
Yeah.
I think that's human nature.
Yeah.
Just try the same solutions over and over again if they prove to be working in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try something new.
That's what the test lab is for. Try something new in an environment which is kind of safe, no connection to the outside world, and you can actually try something you have not done before.
Interesting. Now I'm feeling really bad. I haven't been in the lab yet. Of course, I've been doing this, so, you know, there we have it.
We'll move the camera over to there.
Bring the camera over
Bring the
to
camera
test lab.
there. Yeah, actually, well, I don't know how that would, that's an interesting question. So what would happen to testers if they felt like they were being observed, right? Too much, like lights and cameras and kind of a little stage here. I'm sure it would affect people.
Yeah, it happens what happens to us. I mean, I was standing, singing, dancing out there, and in here I'm a quiet boy. So this is different.
I missed the
This is
dancing.
quiet?
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, don't go to the dancing.
Do you want to dance? We have a,
If
She's
we're
a
going to do
great
an
camera
iCarly
person
thing,
here.
we could do random dancing.
yeah, okay.
If
I
he's
don't
gonna
think we signed
dance-
up for that, though, right?
If he's going to dance, I'll use the horn.
I'm going to take the car and I'm out of here. We're dancing. Okay, so when you're not wearing a white lab coat, what do you do?
I'm a test advisor, senior test advisor, and at this moment I'm working on setting up a test data management team at one of the big insurance companies in the Netherlands. So it's a bit different, but it's interesting. I always like to get into the niches just outside of test management, just a bit off. So test data management, security testing, usability. And I do test management, of course, as well, if I want to.
You like variety.
Yeah.
Sounds like a consultant.
Yep.
Rock on. How about you?
I work at a large Dutch bank. I'm currently involved in new functionality for the internet banking environment. I'm coordinating different tests on test levels, and I will be doing the end-to-end test with the overall systems.
You must be watching what's going on in the news pretty closely then. A lot of banks having some issues
Yeah.
in recent days. Kind of fascinating story.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Anything else you would like to share?
Well, if ever you're over at one of the STAR conferences, go to the test lab. That's mainly it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start a robot. I think that makes
Go
the
and
point
look.
very clear. This is
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Does the person who solves this, or I guess there is no real answer, win this, or?
Yeah, they win a prize. We have a gift voucher for them.
Okay.
And we've got some buckyballs for the second and third to solve it. So that's good.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to see if I'm free and if I can come to the lab. So,
Okay.
thanks for being here.
Thank
No
you
problem.
for inviting us.
Okay.